Hello viewers, today we will talk about the satellite communication. Satellite communication, it is usually called as SATCOM. It is an advanced category of wireless communication operating at microwave frequency range. It covers large area over the Earth's surface. Very basic introduction of the satellite communication, mentioning the historical importance. About 2.4 million years ago, in the Paleolithic age, the primitive men were communicating their emotions and views by throwing stones and creating smokes. In Middle Age, sculpture making, writing, printing, and imaging are used for communications. In modern times, phonography and wireless communication have been emerged. The pressing demand of the society, modern advanced modulation techniques imposed on RF and microwave frequency carriers resulted the most decent, efficient communication medium, as for example, email, Facebook, etc. Before going into the detail of the satellite communication, let us look at the electromagnetic spectrum. As because the signal and information is carried by the electromagnetic wave, so let us look at the of its spectrum. The spectrum shown in figure is from the right hand, starting from the almost DC to left hand side. It is very high frequency of the gamma rays. Initially, the radio communication started with the long radio waves. It is having very high wavelength. Then the communication was advancing and the frequency also are increased. Like this, from the long wave, it was extended to short waves through medium waves, and the modulation technique also are improved. Initially, it was started with amplitude modulation, then is the frequency and phase modulations. Then once again, the frequency is extended for the pressing demand of the subscriber. It was extended to microwave range. It is having wavelength few centimeter to few millimeter. Regarding the frequency, after the microwave, it is coming the infrared and ultraviolet. In between there is the visible spectrum. This visible spectrum, red is towards the infrared and the blue is towards the ultraviolet. After ultraviolet, frequency wise, X-ray is the higher and gamma ray is the highest. Those are having very small wavelength. So in the microwave communication, microwave frequency range is being used, and in the radio wave communication and radio frequency communication, mostly is the short waves are used. Terrestrial microwave propagation. Microwave frequency is usually used for a small distance wireless communication to satisfy more number of subscribers and large data transfer. Narrow angle terrestrial microwave links are essential for such communication to avoid large microwave power requirement and also to avoid wave interferences. In terrestrial link, microwave propagates almost in a straight line. That is, the visibility between the transmitter and the receiver is an essential condition. Limitation of terrestrial microwave link. This is a pictorial representation of the Earth, and to basic transmission among two microwave transmitter and receiver. So it is the almost straight path. It is not perfectly straight path, but it is almost straight path. So the electromagnetic wave propagates from the transmitter to the receiver along a straight path. But as we know, Earth is not the planar surface. It is spherical, and the North Pole and the South Poles are slightly depressed, not exactly the spherical. So the communication between two towers of transmitter and receiver, they both should see each other. So very long distance communication is not possible that way. As the Earth's surface has an overall certain curvature, terrestrial microwave links are not suitable to meet the demand of a large geographical coverage for radio, television, networking, and also for cellular telephony. Radio and TV repeater towers are needed after a certain distance, depending upon the curvature of the land. What is the solution? The technologists and the scientists are deeply thinking to solve it. One solution is very straightforward, is to use adequate number of repeaters. To increase the height of the repeater towers is another solution. Calculate the number of repeater tower will be needed to cover total Indian land area, which is 3.287 into 10 to the power 6 square kilometer. So let us calculate out and do some estimation. If we think the 100 meter is the height of the repeater transceivers, this calculation shows that it can cover a small town of 1 kilometer radius, that is 3.14 square kilometer area. So to cover 3.287 into 10 to the power 6 square kilometer area like this by using repeater, a large number of towers are needed. Large number of repeaters should be installed, and if we figure out, it can be thought about that more than 1 million repeaters will be needed. Scientist Arthur Clarke in 1945, it was the middle of the 20th century, published a seminar paper in Wireless World informing that 3 numbers of 36,000 kilometer high repeater can cover the globe for intercontinental communication. The whole globe should be covered by 3 such transceivers, repeaters. This is a part of that published paper. These receivers are designated by Arthur Clarke as the geosynchronous satellite, and it would be placed in the geosynchronous satellite orbit. So a rocket, as I mentioned here, which can reach a speed of 8 kilometers per second parallel to the Earth's surface, would continue to circle the Earth forever in a closed orbit. So a satellite which is moving at 8 kilometers per second, if we place at such a high altitude orbit, then 3 such satellites will be used as the repeaters to cover the whole globe. This was Arthur Clarke's findings, and he published that paper in Wireless World. How do communication satellites work? Let us have some idea. 2 stations on Earth, one to communicate through radio broadcast, but these 2 broadcast stations either should be very high, very tall. The transceivers will be installed on very tall tower. So they cannot be very far off from one another. That's why these transceiver towers, the repeater towers, should be very high in height. The 2 stations can use a satellite as a relay station for their communications. This is the alternative thing. So one Earth station sends a transmission to the satellite. This is called the uplinking, and this linking the satellite is called the uplink. The satellite transponder converts the signal and sends it down to the second Earth station, which is called the downlinking. Satellite system design. How one should design the satellite system? Very basic of the thing is schematically shown in figure here. There will be 2 Earth stations over the Earth. One Earth station will transmit the signal and another Earth station will receive it. Or both can transmit and receive. That also can be done. And the transmitter will be transmitting, satellite will receive the signal, process it, and retransmit, which will be captured by the other Earth station. Earth station should have its own hardware accessories. There will be the transceivers and the antenna, which will be facing towards the satellite. And in the Earth station also should have the signal processing, signal linking over the useful area on the Earth surface. So there should be few computers internet connections, and other essential hardwares. So both the earth stations should have this facility. The scheme I already have shown here is a point-to-point link. Two earth stations are connected by the satellite. So it is point-to-point link. But there may be, and usually that should be, the point to multipoint. That is, the transmitter of the earth station will transmit the signal, satellite will receive the signal and retransmit, and that retransmitted signal over a large solid angle will be received by multiple receiving stations over the earth. So it can cover a very large area of the earth surface. The transceivers will be installed at several places which are far away from the primary transmitter. Components of a satellite communication system. Satellite communication system should have, essentially, there will be the satellite, an earth station, two or more, computer system to process and control the signals, and also to maintain the propagation and health of the satellite also, and information network near to the earth station. Advantages of satellite communications. Satellite communication covers large area. Several countries will be connected through this, or the whole globe also will be connected. Mobile or wireless communication also is very much possible from one point to another, very far off point, very near, not exactly on the pole, but very near to the pole it is possible. So the basic feature is independent of the location, whether it is over the sea or on the land or it is on the hill. There is no bar. Signal will be propagated anywhere and everywhere. Transmission cost is independent of the distance. That is very much obvious, because on and around the globe, everywhere there should be the signal, whether you receive it or not, and whether the distance is very near to the basic transmitter or not. Satellite to satellite communication is very precise. In the space, sometimes it is needed to communicate signal from one satellite to the another satellite. That is independent of terrestrial infrastructure. For that, additional things are not needed. Total services from a single provider. The basic signal and transmitter may be one. Maybe it is installed at some point of the earth surface. Rapid installation of ground network, as because the major repeaters are in the space, so there will be the requirement of the installation of the ground station, earth station, and very minimum accessories. Small fading margin, uniform service characteristics is another very basic feature, very good feature. low error rate, as the signal to noise ratio is very high, so the error rate will be very small, that is very near to 10 to the power minus 6. Higher bandwidth, because of the use of the microwave, bandwidth is very high, and high channel capacity also, more than 100 megabyte per second. Disadvantages of satellite communication: expensive launching satellite is a very difficult task and expensive task. Ground station requirement, as because this is basically for satisfying the subscriber, so it should be very much elaborate and expensive. A larger propagation delay in satellite communication than in terrestrial communication because of the very large distance. All these geosynchronous or geostationary orbit is about 40,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface. That is very huge distance. So this signal propagation delay will be there. Satellite cannot be maintained. That is another disadvantage. Once it goes bad, that cannot be maintained. So there should be the redundancy of the components, vital components. Limited orbital space in the geosynchronous or geostationary orbit because of the sharing of the satellites. There will be large number of satellites will be present there. Many countries, they have placed geostationary satellites very near to the geostationary orbit. Limited lifetime. This, of course, was initially the limited lifetime. Now, with the advancement of the technology, it has increased a lot. But in comparison to the cost and the effort for a satellite, this is not that high. So it is that way one can talk it as the limited. One can speak that it is limited. Constant ground monitoring required for positioning and operational control, that is needed for monitoring the movement of the satellite. If the satellite, due to some disturbance in the space or due to some malfunction of some mechanism, if it goes beyond the desired orbit, or if its motion is slightly non-synchronized, then it cannot serve our purpose. Limited frequency spectrum, though I told it is operating in the microwave frequency range, but the total frequency range is fixed. So if it is shared by many satellites, so the bandwidth gradually are becoming used up. So these are the basic disadvantages. It has a lot of advantages, but have some disadvantage also. Modes of uses of satellite. These satellite uses are usually planned internationally. So there will be the service type, fixed service satellites. These are for point-to-point communication. Then is the broadcast satellite. These are being utilized for satellite television and radio, and also called direct broadcast services, DBS. Mobile service satellite, because mobile frequency range also falling under the microwave, and communication has become very much straightforward with the help of the satellite. So it is the mobile service. Satellite is the MSS. Example is the satellite phones and mobile phones. Satellite application areas: telecommunication, radio, television broadcasting, these two are the very basic domestic requirements. Then is the military communication is the most vital. So those are very specialized, allocated bands and spectrum are needed for this. Then is the navigation system. This navigation, it has become very much easy with the help of the satellite communication. Because if there is a station at some point, if there is any ship or any vehicle where human being cannot usually get the information about that vehicle or that ship, that is possible. Or in the very inaccessible place over the hills, that is also possible. Remote sensing and surveillance is another very useful requirement of satellite communication. Astronomical research has become very much helpful with the use of the satellites, and weather observation, which is very common to all of you. The information and forecast, weather forecast and other thing has become very much accessible and possible. Thank you.